Brothers and sisters, we must fight this slumlord, overlord of the concrete jungle.
Working advocacy groups for the poor say that for all the talk of sushi and SUVs, the gentrification of the Mission poses real hardship on real people. Colby Bruno is the housing counselor for St. Peter's Housing Committee.
What we've seen here at St. Peter's, which primarily helps low-income Spanish-speaking tenants in the Mission District, is that the Mission is leading all of the districts in San Francisco in terms of evictions. So what's going on is people are targeting the Mission District because it seems to be what's called the hot area in town, and they're evicting long-term low-income tenants.
For KQED Radio News, this is Speedweed.
They tell me to hold my peace, but I just can't. But I'm defrosted the rap group of Point Blank. So now I'm chilling at the table with my family, hypothetically, trying hard to keep my mind off the economy. Yeah, I know the rules and I'm fighting hard to pass the test. Call me a victim cause I'm another brother jobless. Every day it seems I'm moving closer to the streets. PG&E repose the mics in my fucking heat. The situation's getting hard for me to handle. Had to trade my Nikes to the store to buy some candles. Now the first and I'm 100 in the hole. I know the man is gonna come and throw me in the cold, tears in my eyes as I'm thinking of a place to stay. While I'm staring at the freebie cheese up in my plate, I heard a bang, bang, bang knocking at my door. I looked up, it was my motherfucking landlord. Let him in quick.
Our top story, vandals with a cause. Their target, thousands of Bay Area people who patronize new upscale night spots in San Francisco's Mission District. Lance Evans reports on the attack of the Yuppie Eradication Project.
A turf war in San Francisco's Mission District is apparently heating up.
A rally in San Francisco this afternoon turned out to be nothing like its billing. At issue is the gentrification of the Mission District. As we reported last night, the situation is pitting neighbor against neighbor. And now it appears some people are pretending to be someone they're not.
On Wednesday of last week, the SF Weekly newspaper ran an ad calling for a protest to stop the hate. It called for landowners and people with nice cars to join together to support the building of a new Mission community. The San Francisco Examiner and a number of broadcast stations and even the Associated Press picked up on the story and ran the rally as news. Yuppies unite to fight back. But the 10 or so yuppies that were there weren't quite convincing.
If you can't afford San Francisco, get a better job. You can learn web design or something. Hey, you're hurting my feelings, man. Stop the hate.
Longtime Mission District residents who attended this rally say they heard about it through the media. But they say when they got here, they couldn't believe what they saw.
This is a practical joke, a very cruel joke.
I think this whole thing was staged by people who want to take away other people's freedom.
Thank you, Fred. The development trend in one San Francisco community has anger building among some residents. They say they are being forced out of their homes as wealthier people move into their section of town. CNN's Don Knapp reports.
San Francisco's Mission District has been traditionally Latino, mostly working class, and poor. But suddenly it's hot property. That's got developers and real estate agents hopping, and that's got Kevin Keating rip-roaring mad.
Yeah, regular working folks aren't buying $300,000 and $400,000 and $600,000 luxury condos. That's being bought by, you know, brokerage house types, Silicon Valley startup dudes, people who basically have a completely parasitic and predatory relationship to neighborhoods like San Francisco's Mission District.
Keating says a yuppie invasion is forcing up rents and forcing out longtime residents who can't afford them. This house, for example, once housed 7 tenants.
His dad bought him this building and gave it to him, and then this guy kicked out all the people that lived there.
Police arrested Keating early one morning last month with a bundle of so-called Yuppie Eradication Project posters calling for destruction of certain yuppie businesses. Keating hasn't been charged and denies any wrongdoing, but says the author of the posters was right on. This condo loft development sprang up on a lot that once held an old warehouse. 31 units in 2 buildings quickly sold for nearly $300,000 each.
If you don't want to have a full-time, if you don't want to work and work and work, you got to learn how to buy property. And anybody can learn. Anybody. Knows no bounds.
And it's pioneered here in San Francisco, where no one can afford to live, that can't afford a laptop and a BMW.
Who ran the ad in the SF Weekly on Wednesday?
We don't know.
Mad respect to the Mexicas, to the Mayans, to the Aztecs, to the Onondagas. You bet you don't even know who was the people who inhabited the Mission Creek. Why you think it's called a mission?
The son of Nicaraguan immigrants, Roberto Hernandez was born and raised in the Mission. In 1980, he found himself out on the street defending the neighborhood as he knew it.
It just started off from cruising from Army Street to 22nd Street, and then we'd go back, and it got so popular that the cruising, in fact, started from Daly City, from the top of the hill on Mission Street. By the time we hit Army, it was back to back.
With the congestion came vandalism, violence, and bad press. The police ordered a curfew, cracked down on low riding, and closed Mission Street.
I believe that the low riders, and I was one of them, when we cruised down Mission Street, that's what saved the Mission District from being taken over and gentrified.
A turf war is being waged in the Mission between the haves and the have-nots, and the future character of this lively district is the prize.
Gentrification in the Mission is driving lots of working class people out of what used to be a vibrant community and is increasingly a sterile playground for yuppies.
That view, police say, is the reason these flyers have been appearing in the Mission. Flyers calling for the destruction of new yuppie bars and restaurants like Blowfish Sushi, that some say are destroying the traditional character of the Mission.
Investigators say they plan on bringing a case against a man suspected of distributing the flyers later this month. Reporting live, I'm Lance Evans in San Francisco.
I will cop to this. My politics are virtually identical to those that are expressed on the posters, and I can give my perspective on them and how they've been effective in catalyzing drawing a lot of attention to the attempted destruction of the Mission District by real estate speculators and by their pawns, the Planning Commission, the Mayor's Office, and the San Francisco Police Department.
Red stripe, whatever. You know, I have a little critique about the Yuppie Eradication Project. I think that shit is tight. I love seeing those posters, encouraging people to do that, you know, but what is it really going to do if we're not organized? Right. If we're not really organized. I mean, yeah, if I saw on the news that someone threw a bomb through the beauty bar or whatever, a rock or whatever, yeah, maybe I might be hyped, but that ain't going to do nothing. That's not going to really change anything. So my emphasis is that we do need to organize. If you have love for San Francisco, want to stay here and don't want to be pushed to another city, native born, raised, whatever, we all need to get together and organize.
My name's Tony Santiago. I was born here in the Mission District, 24th and Cap Street in 1942. People are, once they read those posters, they became involved. And I had a great time watching the theater on the streets of people happening by on those posters, and they would read it, and I'd stand there like a fly on the wall as these people were commenting to each other about what they're reading. And they walked away smiling and scratching their head, but I know what nervous laughter is about, and certainly everyone who read that had that little nervous chuckle as they walked away, because nobody quite understood that was about them in particular too. I mean, let's face it, folks, we are all in the mix.
Notice of eviction, for a knuckle dental affliction, friction. Oh, did I mention? You'll be finger licking as I handicap your diction, and you say you're not a criminal like Tricky Dick Nixon. Well, we're fixing to impose rent control. We didn't vote on it, this land wasn't bought or sold. It was stole.
Like the shameless scum they are, they're afraid to come out. If I were weaseling free, I'd be afraid to show my face too.
No, can I say something where you can show your face?
Ashamed to show my face, without a doubt.
What's your name?
Ted Gullickson.
And where do you work?
I work for the San Francisco Tenants Union.
Okay.
And we're here with a coalition of tenant and senior groups protesting the eviction of a 90-year-old woman who lives in the Mission District. She's lived in her home for over 40 years, and she's being evicted by her landlord, who's a real estate broker, who wants to convert the apartment building into condos. This is a 4-unit building. We're here.
Is this a pervasive problem in the Mission right now?
Yeah, the gentrification of the Mission is causing a lot of apartments being turned into condos and displacing low and moderate income people, and it's especially impacting seniors. So a lot of seniors are being evicted so that real estate speculators can make money by selling off their apartments as condos.
Now is the time to show California and the United States that you are not going to be ruled by a corrupt gang of millionaires. Because if you, the working men of San Francisco, will stand together, there is no power on earth that can prevail against you.
Irish-born Peter York, speaking from the pulpit of St. Peter's in the heart of the Mission, whipped up support for the unions among his parishioners. He planted seeds in fertile ground, for the roots of labor in the neighborhood ran deep, all the way back to the arrival of the 49ers.
Why do you think it's called a mission? Because your ancestors came here to take our shit, take our land, take our dignity, take our lives, enslaves us. Who washes your dishes? Who dry cleans your clothes? Who washes your cars on the Isadero? In South Street, it's Raza who does that shit.
We need to be doing this every single month, taking direct action and shutting these people down. Many cities that were experiencing a similar crisis during the Great Depression, people canceled all the evictions. They forced their cities through taking direct actions, through blocking sheriff's evictions, by going to the landlords' houses. They got their cities to declare an eviction-free zone for 5 years during the height of the Great Depression. Now, in the city that's being completely cleansed, ethnic-wise, why can't we do that here? Can we do that here? All right. Is there any excuse for this type of bullshit? No!
Wealth is very stationary. I learned the game and I became a revolutionary. Scared of corporate asses cause the masses are a loaded gun. Killing the World Bank and International Monetary Fund. I'm done, we're done with what you done for 25 score. We got a battle cry. Kill my, kill my, kill my, kill my, kill my, kill my.
But I'm here as a native San Franciscan who was born and raised in this neighborhood. My mother went to this school. I went to school in this neighborhood, but unfortunately, I just got my daughter into a school in this neighborhood as well, but she might not be able to go because I might not be able to afford to live here. I make a decent wage, I work full-time, but my daughter and I can't live here because there's not enough housing in this city that's affordable. So I'm here to support the Live Work Moratorium and ask you to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you.